even today I was like, I would love to cut a bob, but we've talked about we don't have the faces for it.
We don't.
Our round faces
I
would
love
not
the
suit.
phrasing, I'd love to cut a bob. So nuts.
You think so?
Yes.
Anyway, my name is Claire,
And I'm Molly.
and this is
Book
Stupid. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Welcome back. We've got the Met Gala on. Usually there's a Phillies game on, sort of in the periphery.
We need at least 7 screens to do our podcast.
This is TikTok Nation.
I play Candy Crush just like slightly off screen.
We should at some point talk about Molly's addiction to Candy Crush.
Oh my god. Wait, it's gonna come up on one of the items I have today.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, so the Met Gala's on, whatever. I care very much about it.
Yes.
And I'd actually like to start this episode by talking about the Met
Let's do
Gala.
it.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm not going to belabor my bests and my worsts of this year, because by the time this episode airs, it'll be largely irrelevant, but it's a fun fucking night, and that's the main point I want to make about the Met Gala. The Met Gala should be fun. It used to be that you could walk all the way up. You had to go through on 84th, I think, but you could walk all the way up to the stairs. People would like camp out, line up. It was like a concert event.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if you know this, you can't arrive at the Met Gala by foot.
Really?
You have to be driven up.
For like safety or?
I don't know what it is, logistics management, because most of the celebrities do stay at the Mark or the Carlisle, which are blocks away.
Walking. Well, yeah, also, I mean, they're usually wearing
insane
art,
yeah.
So.
But they can't sit in it either. They have to just stand in their Sprinter van.
Yeah, true.
So it's not a problem if the people are crushing in on the event, because like, fine, everybody else is pulling up in a car. Great.
Yeah.
We the first year I lived up here,
Yes.
we went
Yeah.
like all the way up the 84th, and it's fun. It feels like the French Revolution. People are climbing scaffolding to get a peek, but it's like, it's people who care so much about fashion and like culture, and they're like people dress up for it. They wear shit that they made
That is really fun
themselves.
that people get like wear like actual high fashion to just try to get a peek at the event.
Yes, because it is the fashion Super Bowl, like, and it's like these people just like care a lot about it, and it's cool to care about shit.
Yeah.
And they'll go and they'll do their own photo shoots near the Met Steps, but like the people love this shit. Okay, in recent years, no more.
Yeah.
And not to like draw on the French Revolution of it all. It felt a little bit like, let them eat cake.
Yeah.
Like, but I even contest that. And that's been like a big digital take this year, where it's like, the Met Gala, really? In this economy? Girl, the tariffs.
The Met Gala is a recession indicator.
It happens annually for right. But I take issue with that, because first of all, it is a fundraiser.
Yeah.
But second of all, it's a celebration of the arts.
Yeah.
And I get that fashion is often an exclusionary art, because like designer goods are cost prohibitive for most people. But like, seeing the kinds of people who like line up and climb scaffolding to watch the steps, to watch the people arrive in their looks, they're not like, that's who it's for.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I can't buy custom haute couture, so like,
it's never really been for like, it's not like a fashion show for things you would buy.
no. And so a lot of designer goods are like ultimately extremely expensive. They're expensive to account for the craftsmanship that goes into them. Like, fashion is art, and art is expensive in many cases, and the people who line up on this block loving it are people who like are scrapping together looks however they can. And it's like
they just came from Mood.
And they have 30 minutes, designers.
Oh my god, they should do that.
It's coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everyone thought it was canceled, but it's coming back.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, with Heidi Klum.
Now that's a recession indicator.
Totally. I wanted to ask you, do you think bobs are a recession indicator?
That's a good question. It's hard to know what's just fashion being cyclical and what's and what's the fact that we just haven't had a real recession since 2008.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm seeing bobs everywhere right now.
Yeah, I mean, even today I was like, I would love to cut a bob, but we've talked about we don't have the faces for it.
We don't.
Our round faces
I
would
love
not
the
suit.
phrasing. I'd love to cut a bob. So nuts.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, I think it's like, yeah, I cut a bob.
Oh. Did you arrive on Earth yesterday?
I didn't think it was weird when I said it, but now I'm like, that's a really cool way to say that I'm gonna get a bob.
It was very like, I'd love to cut a bob and then head to the sock hop. Like, what do you mean cut a bob?
I think that's a thing people say. Jubes is saying, no way.
Listen from the producer. New phrase never been said before.
I'll cut a bob, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Wish I could, but
Wish I could. I don't know.
well, I actually really I do agree with you. I think that and also we just need to bring back like so I love like the celebrity of it all and just like
Yeah.
the celebrity gossip of it all.
I agree.
So like why can't we just enjoy it?
And so, sorry, I belabored the point about like going all the way up to say
Yeah.
you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And there have been more protests the past few years. But like, yeah, protesting is part of it. And I could hear the protests from my apartment. I was working with my windows open today, and starting at like 2, you could hear loud protests, and then the police saying, if you don't get out of here, like they're on their megaphones going like, you will be charged. And I'm like, charged? And Hector's like,
He's like, I'm gonna be charged.
like, they are so far from you, bro. Oh, but the whole afternoon he was losing his ever-loving mind.
He was like, take me to the Met Gala, Mom.
Lock fashion is a crime. Lock me up.
He is a fashion baddie.
He wants to cut a bob.
He and I will cut him off together.
He wants to go on Project Runway. Wait, yeah. So I think that's wrong that they don't let us go up anymore.
I didn't know that.
It's bullshit. But here's where I get my comeuppance.
Okay. Tell me.
Okay. So like I was walking here tonight, the night of the Met Gala.
Yeah.
And you know, they've got the sprinter because everyone has to arrive by sprinter van. They, you know, and they're all standing in them too. They're so uncomfortable. And the sprinter vans have blacked out windows. People could see through them because it's well lit on the inside. Would I like being on my block or like walking here on the few blocks that were, you know, blocked off? They have to see me.
Yeah.
That sprinter van's waiting for me to cross the street.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
Rihanna has to look at me.
Wait, that's actually so funny. You're right. Because you know
Yeah.
she's like trying to disassociate because she's like so uncomfortable.
And they're just standing and they're like, oh my god. So they're just like looking at anything on the street.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
They're looking at me on the street.
Yeah.
Boogity woogity woogity.
You should move them.
You will be charged.
I also love that you will be charged. It's like, what do the police do besides shout? You will be charged. Do it then.
Yeah. Charge me.
You guys are supposed to. You do the charging.
Okay, Joan Rivers, back from the dead. Fashion crime. You will be charged.
Just fucking do it.
Fuck up. Yeah, just do it, man.
I do like the Met Gala. I like looking at the fashion. I'm more of like an Oscars, Emmys. Like that's where my interests lie.
Yeah, because it's the cross section of the fashion
yeah. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm watching people go to a party. Sick. No. I appreciate that you love it. No, I'm not trying not to cut a bob right now.
Don't cut a bob on me.
But I when I look at the Met Gala, I'm like, that looks like my personal hell. Like being in something so uncomfortable. Like, because all you ever hear about the Met Gala is like it's so hot.
Yeah.
And everyone
and the
is
food
like,
is bad.
Yeah. And so I just think about that when I look at it. But I love a cultural moment. So from that perspective, I do like to.
And it's monoculture, the way people talk. I love that.
What is the theme this year? I don't know it.
So The theme of the exhibit is super fine, like dandyism.
Okay.
But then they do like a spin on the theme of the exhibit as the dress code for the dinner.
Right.
So the dress code for the dinner is tailored for you.
Okay.
And I heard different people talk about that as like an essential nuance to avoid like non-black attendee appropriation of certain black like styles. Like
Oh, I
saw
see.
some
Okay.
predictions that like you're gonna see a white bitch in cornrows, that's not okay.
Yeah.
But like, and if it were pinned, like if it were solely parked on black dandyism, like
Yeah.
maybe would have seen more of that, but tailored for you
It's supposed to be
seemed
like,
to nudge people towards
got it.
your
Yeah.
you
and
can
you
do.
and the color of your skin.
Yeah, that's what I've got on the Met
Well,
Gala.
cool.
What
Yeah.
have you been up to?
I had an eventful weekend. I did not get a lot of sleep. I was actually very
You were
restless.
booked and busy.
I was booked and busy. I had a birthday party on Saturday that was a full day. Dan Mullen, shout out. He doesn't listen to the pod, I don't think. But
Happy birthday.
It's his
All
actual
the same.
birthday today. He had a very fun concept for his birthday party. It was called like Boats and Brews, I think, and it was a bar crawl through New York's 5 boroughs, all 5, only traveling by foot and by boat.
That's iconic.
It took about 8 hours. But it was very fun. We started
Did you have to involve a boat for every borough? Was that
pretty
part of the
I mean,
rules?
I don't know how else we would have. The boat did expedite our travels.
Right, I guess you can't really walk between.
You could, but
You could, but at what cost?
so we started at Staten Island.
How was that?
Or we started, I
ferry?
guess, downtown, took the boat to Staten Island.
Yeah,
It was nice. I'd never been on the Staten Island ferry before.
I haven't myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free boat, I'll say that. And Staten Island itself, we were there for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
But it was really nice. Yeah, I thought it was really kind of cute.
Could you see yourself kind of settling down?
Raising an Italian baby there. I can't say that I did, but it was nice. Also, Jupes, we were looking at the map on the way to Staten Island. She was like, "Oh my God, there's some mountains in Staten Island because there's like you can see the
Nuh-uh.
raised elevation." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's crazy." And then we get off the boat and like Dan took us to like a bar on the top of the mountain. Like we had to climb this massive hill to get to the bar.
Wow.
But yeah, that was nice. And then we did.
People are always kind of confusing Staten Island and San Francisco. For
So
topography.
true. So true. And then we went to Astoria, I think, next. Oh my God, Brooklyn. Sorry, my bad.
Did you have to take the Staten Island ferry back?
We took the Staten Island ferry
downtown.
back to downtown and then walked to the Wall Street ferry.
Got it.
I think. And then we took that to Brooklyn. Williamsburg.
Where'd
And
you go in
then
Williamsburg?
what was the place we went to? Bees Knees.
North Stop or South Stop?
North.
I'm a South Side girl.
Yeah. And then we went to Long Island City to one of Dan's favorite breweries, Fifth Hammer.
And that's the same ferry will take you from the North Stop to LIC next.
No, we had to cross
Yeah.
back over.
No,
I
you
was
had to
kinda
go back
like-
to Manhattan.
Yeah,
We had a layover.
I was just
on
letting it.
34th.
I was letting it the day
Crazy.
happen to me. But
I don't
yeah.
know why I'm so invested in the logistics.
No. I forgot that we did have to take the ferry back to. We took the ferry back to Manhattan a couple times.
I love the ferry though.
Well, okay, and then so we did a lot of that. Yeah, and then we went to Fifth Hammer, which was really fun. That's where I feel like people, at least I was starting to get a little tipsy, and then
That's a brewery.
That's where I had my first
yes, yeah, Jeeps was like playing it cool. But it was really nice to it was also so warm on Saturday, so it was nice to be on the boat.
Yeah.
On the boat.
Totally.
And then we went to. Then we had a little delay in our scheduled programming, which I know was hard for a
I went to
tourist.
the ice cream truck.
So I went to the ice cream truck.
Wait, that was the delay, or that's how
No.
you spent your delay?
No, that's how I spent my delay. The ferry was full. They were like, we're at capacity.
No
which has
way.
never happened
I
to me
have
before.
never encountered
Yeah.
that.
So we had to wait for the
a
next
beautiful
one.
day.
Yeah. And we took it back to Upper East Side, where we did a random like interlude in the park.
Oh,
We laid on the
the
ground.
Carl Schurz
It's
part?
Carl Schurz Park.
Okay.
And then we took the ferry to the Bronx, like the tip of the Bronx, I think.
Yeah.
I don't actually really know. There's just a big
Soundview.
sign that says Soundview that says "Welcome to the Bronx,"
Oh, cool.
and we took a shot there that like Dan had brought with us because I think it was too much to go find a bar. It was a very like it seemed
It
like
was a walkable.
yeah, it seemed like residential
Oh,
and like
got it. The Bronx. Oh, we can't walk around the Bronx. Oh, it's scary.
I wish you could see where we were. It was like there were like condos and the
Knock on
park.
the door.
Yeah.
Play in.
But I really liked the Bronx stop actually because a lot of people were like picnicking and grilling and stuff.
Cute.
And it was just very sweet. Like the sun was setting.
6-year-old made me do 1,000 cartwheels.
Yeah, I was about to say this
Hell
like
yeah.
little girl came up. I think she was like, "Can you do a cartwheel?" And then like everyone was doing cartwheels because I've never done a cartwheel before in my life, so I was
You've
kind of
never done a
I
Claire
don't
was
know
standing
how.
there like this.
Wait,
I
what?
can't do a cartwheel.
Reveal.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I can't do one. My body doesn't move like that.
I never knew this about you.
Yeah, no, like my whole life I've tried. Like it's like one of those. It's like I feel like it's like a handedness thing. Like I simply
Sure.
can't do it.
I think you're afraid.
Do you think? Yeah,
pro-
it's
it's
probably a mental
possible,
thing.
yeah.
Like,
You
yeah,
can do a cartwheel.
of course I can do. it.
I kind of feel like it's like a height thing.
I can do a round off.
You can do a round off.
Yeah.
I can do it in the pool.
On Saturday, everyone could do one in the pool.
Yeah, so I'm just saying I can't do it when I'm weightless.
Yeah, that does make me think it's a mental thing.
It's possible. And I'm not ruling it out. But yeah, I was just kind of staring at everyone doing the cartwheels. And Juice was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm just so jealous."
Someday, maybe.
Someday.
Yeah.
But my highlight of the day from Saturday was when we were at Fifth Hammer and there were a lot of gay men at this event. And
That came with you.
yeah. Sorry, at the party.
You weren't
And-
like attracting them at Fifth Hammer.
No, but let me just kind of.
Okay.
We were just chatting about life, and I think it was either Gatlin or Dylan said, we played we played Fuck, Marry, Kill with all the girls, and we all picked you to marry.
That is so sweet.
Isn't that so nice?
Oh
Sorry,
my
Jupes.
God.
I didn't ask where you got placed.
Jupes found dead.
I think you probably got fucked.
No,
to be
you
honest.
for sure got fucked. For sure you got fucked.
But I was like, it actually made my day that all these gay men said they would marry me.
Yeah, that's the highest form of flattery. Whoa, nice.
Yeah, so that was the highlight of my day.
You were the universal winner?
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we all picked you. I was like, that makes sense. I dated a gay man for 6 months, so it's kind of my thing. Anyway, yeah, that was my Saturday.
That's really sweet and romantic.
Yeah, that was almost my most romantic. But as I said earlier,
Did you then turn around and do Fuck, Marry, Kill for that?
that was almost my most romantic. But I had so many fun things that happened this weekend. Like, I encountered so much romance.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
Um,
happens when you leave your apartment. Romance abounds. I'm saying that as a reminder to myself who did not really leave my apartment. I had bowling ball head though. I don't know
it's
what
not your fault.
I was falling asleep every hour on the hour, and then
Yeah.
I'd wake up for 5 minutes, toss and turn fitfully, and go back to sleep.
That's bowling ball head. That's BBH for you.
Yeah. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and then yesterday I did classic day trip on the Northeast Regional rail to Philadelphia.
Season ticket holder.
Because I'm a season ticket holder to the Phillies. I get all the Sunday home games.
Hell yeah.
And a lot of people wouldn't have gone to that game because it was raining. But I did.
Thank you.
And I was just wanted to say that going to the ballpark almost like lately it just like makes me cry.
Totally.
Which is like, an illness I probably need to sort through.
No, that's our humanity. Like, don't fight that.
There's just always something cute happening that, and I won't belabor the baseball of it all, but there was one of the starting pitchers on the Phillies. He's one of my favorite players, if not my favorite, Ranger Suarez. He's been injured for the start of the season. He was injured for a lot of last season, and he was making his first start this year. And when he went out, I got there pretty early. It's It's raining and I'm just sitting there by myself.
Did a banner day of drinking the day before, wakes up early enough to go to Philly and get to the game early.
And I was like so unwell from the day before, like because I had gotten Taco Bell, like I was not okay. But I'm just sitting there by myself
Did
waiting
you
for
see
my
the
parents.
game a lot, or did your
No, my
parents
parents
join
came,
you?
but they got there like during the second inning, so I was there for like an hour and a half by myself.
Whoa.
But when he went out to like just warm up, not even warm up, there's like the official warm up, but just like stretch and stuff at the beginning. There's like, you know, very few people already seated for the game, and everyone started cheering for him. It was so cute. And he had a really,
cool.
yeah, it was really cute. And then he had a really rough start, which was disappointing.
And that's why you never cheer for a Philly.
Well, that's one of the things that made me cry is that even though he had a really rough start, first of all, he got so much like love when he went out, and he's got a really fun. He's just great. And when he came off the mound, it was really upsetting because he'd given up like a lot of runs, and people clapped for him anyway. And it was also the day that they were celebrating Mother's Day at the park because not a home game on actual Mother's Day.
Got it.
So, one of my favorite things about Mother's Day at the ballpark is that simply because I'm a woman over 15, I qualify for the giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just say, I did not have my period at 15, so it's interesting. Not every woman gets her period before 15.
So true. And weird that they're even kind of
Litigating that.
yeah. Meeting out the mother's gifts by whether or not they think you menstruate.
Sometimes a girl is mother, you know?
Sometimes the girls, and sometimes mothers are even younger than 15.
Literally.
Upsetting.
Yeah. I actually feel bad for those girls who are below 15 and menstruating who couldn't
Don't get the mother's
the
gift.
Phillies puffer vest.
It was a puffer
It was
vest?
sick, yeah.
What color?
It's not a great color for me personally, but it's like a cream,
Oh.
and it's got a red P.
Come on, that's great.
Now it's really, and I got there so early, so I had my pick of the sizes.
Holy shit, that's a really
Yeah.
good, that's great.
Last year was a pink bucket hat, which was fun too.
I do remember that. I think this sounds even better.
Yeah, the puffer vest was better.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, and all
Congrats,
the,
Mom.
you know, it's raining, and the women of Philadelphia are wearing their ponchos with their vests over the ponchos. Like,
Logistical nightmare.
logistical nightmare. My brother texted me to ask me to see the vest, and I was like, I'm not taking the vest out of its plastic wrap until I get home.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to see the vest right now. I'm a mother.
I'm a mother. Holy shit.
But yeah, they do a really cute thing on Mother's Day where they have, I don't know if this is a thing they do at every ballpark, but they have the mothers of the teammates, or like, sorry, not the mothers of the teammates, the wives and girlfriends of the teammates who have kids.
Of the team. Okay.
Sorry, I'm the teammates.
Just using weird language.
I know I am.
So they cut a bob, right?
And then everyone cuts a bob. It's crazy. It's so mother.
Cut your teammate's bob. Go on.
And they have all their kids out there on the field, and it's very sweet. And then they have the players and the coaches come out of the dugout, each with a bouquet of flowers.
Nice.
It's really cute.
That's really
and they give
cute.
And some of them, like, so they have multiple kids, so sometimes the mom will have one kid and the dad comes out with another from the dugout. It's like,
Another kid?
yeah.
Oh, cute.
They split the kids up.
Cute.
But it was just so cute. It makes me cry.
Oh my god.
I don't know why, because I'm not a mother.
No, that would get me. Hey.
Well,
The
the vest, the vest says differently.
Yes. Did Phoebe come out?
Oh, yes! It means so much to me how much Phillies lore you know. Just so you know. The Fanatic was wearing. So the Fanatic is the Phillies mascot, and he was wearing.
He goes like this.
Molly does a perfect impression of him. And he was wearing, first of all, I think you would have loved, he was wearing a rain jacket and a rain hat.
Of course I would have loved that. That sounds great.
And he's also got a mom who's just, like, massive. She's so big. And her name is Phoebe Fanatic, and she wears, like, a kilt. And yes, she was there.
Happy Mother's Day, Phoebe Fanatic.
Yeah. It was really sweet.
That's really sweet. God, that sounds perfect. And yeah, really romantic. A lot of that would have brought tears to my eye, too.
Yeah, the mom stuff, I don't know. Anytime they do things with, like, the kids, too, I just, like, there was a cancer day last year, kids' cancer day. I was in the stands, like, fully weeping.
Yeah, no, can't do that. No.
Yeah.
Was I there with you that night?
You may have been, yeah.
I was.
So that was my weekend, yeah.
Yeah. The only other thing I have, from this weekend, again, I didn't leave a lot, but when I did, it was to walk Hector. And there are a few, my building is full of old people.
Yeah.
We live in the physical therapy district.
Yeah.
But there are a few who, it's like a springtime pastime. They roll their walkers out, then they sit on their walkers.
Oh my god, I'm gonna
Just
cry.
kind of watch the world go by. It's like really sweet, and I similarly felt like, oh my god, like really moved by them until they started kind of taunting me as I'm trying to get Hector outside, because right now we have to run Hector through the lobby.
Yeah.
I'm yelling, stay focused, stay focused.
Clench.
Don't lose your edge. Let's go.
Don't lose your edge is great.
Get him outside, and he barely clears these olds sitting on their walkers before he does his squat. But they'll have a snide little comment like, "Well, he just made it, didn't he?" I'm like, okay, peanut gallery. And they do. They have something to say every time. But it's ultimately very sweet.
Yeah, I kind of love them.
I'm just loving their energy. Yesterday, a woman sat outside all day long in a baseball cap, denim,
Ooh.
light wash denim baseball cap with big rhinestone letters across the front that said "sexy." It was awesome.
Okay, I love her.
Love
on her walker?
Yep, sitting on the walker.
God.
Really good
I
job.
hope to bring that energy into my elderly years on the Upper East Side.
Could not agree more. It does something for me. And now the foil to that energy, I'll briefly touch on this. I encountered it on my walk here, and I haven't seen it also correlates with the warm weather.
Okay.
Weather gets hotter, men start reading books performatively in public spaces.
Literally kill me. Sorry to men.
Okay, have you seen recently, like, Jacob Elordi kind of started a thing where, like, he was carrying a paperback in his back pocket?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And so guys have been doing that?
No.
Have you seen this?
No.
Whenever I use that kind of, like, phrasing, it's watching you do stand-up has so rotted my brain. You guys heard about this? Have you guys seen this?
Okay, you made it sound really natural, though. Usually when people do it in stand-up, you're like, I know what you're doing. I'm not stupid.
Guys holding books in their back
You
pocket.
guys heard about this backpacking thing?
Yeah. So it's like that.
Yeah.
But, like, they're doing it in parks. They're doing it on Subway.
And quickly, here's an issue I already have. Why are men's back pockets so large that they can carry a full ass book?
Full ass, literally.
A full ass and a book.
A pocket should only be able to bear a full ass.
Yeah, no
Maybe
more.
a wallet.
Maybe your keys.
Maybe. Yeah, it's bizarre to me.
Ew.
I think men's garments are really functional.
And I guess good for them, but like,
where's the equality?
yeah. Also, I feel like books that women read are usually so much bigger. I just can't imagine them ever fit worse because they're so much smarter.
Right.
And
No, they're probably carrying, like, Archie comics.
yeah.
No, it's always like a Steinbeck or something. Oh,
We gotta
ugh.
stop, man.
Yeah. Well, on my walk here, I passed that bar Bon Vivant, or what? How do I say it? You speak French.
Wait,
Bon vivant.
Bon Vivant.
what bar are you talking about?
Bon vivant.
Can you place it on the map for me?
I don't know how much clearer I could be. Bon Vivant. It's small. It's got
Got it.
maybe 8 tables.
Yeah.
One of the tables, closest to the sidewalk, purposefully so, was occupied by a man with a big old hardcover and a glass of white. And when I passed, I've been looking in the box, I'm like, oh, that's cute, I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
been there. Jupes has, we just learned.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've never been there. And then he, like, it's like he's just looking for
He's
eyes.
so easily-
He immediately looks up.
Ew. Oh my god.
You've caught me at leisure.
Yeah.
Like, shut up,
No,
dude.
I'm not stupid. That doesn't work on me.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
No, yeah, you really should only read in public if you are obsessed with the book. Like if
Yeah.
you're not going to be, think if you're going to be easily distracted, just do yourself a favor and keep that book at home.
Right. Read on your phone.
Yeah, that too. I am a person who... that feels okay.
Like,
because it's like less performative.
Yeah, nobody
I see
knows that I'm reading a novel and not playing Candy Crush.
And so it's
for
morally
once in my
superior.
life. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I love to read at bars, but I don't do it that often. But I do agree that
It is nice.
You can almost never uncouple it from being performative, because like in your heart of hearts you do want to be seen.
Sure. Though I do think at Kindle, like, the layers of wanting to be seen, like, wanting to be seen reading, yeah, it's performative, but it's the least of the sins.
Yeah. Okay.
Wanting people to have a perception of you based on what you're reading, that's a far more egregious sin to me. Where you have the jacket on your hardcover, or you're like holding up your fucking
that's true.
face first. I think a lot of people perform the actual title.
Yes.
And I think that's like so atrocious.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back with you.
I think it's, if you're just reading, but you're reading who knows what, that's cool.
Yeah. And when I see a woman on her Kindle, I'm like,
Yeah.
you, me, and our smut.
Yep. I fear I have a gender bias where no matter what, if it's a man reading, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah, no.
God, you're not really reading.
But we've earned our gender
Who
biases.
taught you how to do that?
Literally.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
I also think that when men do it, they want women to like. I'd see. It feels like a trap for women.
It's a trap. It's a
You're
it's
doing trap.
a piece of cheese on a snapper.
And I have better taste than just cheese.
I can get my own cheese.
Yeah.
I don't need your cheese.
Bought my cheese with my credit card that I'm allowed to have now.
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good take.
Yeah, so it felt like opposite but equal forces. The woman in the sexy hat and the man reading at the bar.
They would not get along.
Never
No
the
way.
two shall meet. They would not. Okay, but what have you been reading? What have you been listening to? What have you been watching? We're at our culture.
Yeah, we're
segment.
transitioning into culture here. I have been. I'm in like my rewatch era, truthfully. So right now I'm. Sorry, James laughing made me laugh. Yeah,
I'm worried that you guys can hear every time I sigh. My belt is so tight it creaks. The leather creaks. And the microphone's for sure picking it up.
So yeah, I'm in my rewatch era, as I said. So yeah, I'm right now rewatching You. I don't think I talked about this in the last episode. My journey with You, starring Penn Badgley. Season 5 now streaming. But that is the kind of show where like so much insane shit happens per season. He kills like 10 people a season, and every time it's like it's a very well written show from the perspective of like. I mean, you know the whole time he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
I think when I first watched season 1, I was kind of like, a charming little man.
I think I'll eat this piece of cheese.
Thanks for the cheese, Penn. But like, he is such a sociopath that you're kind of, I think, you're like, this is a serial killer, but you're like, you
Wink.
right? He's not hot. Wink, wink. But you're supposed to be charmed by him and see how he charms these women and whatever. And he is so well cast. I actually think we talked about this recently. Like, first, 1 is Penn Badgley hot, and 2, I kind of forget. Anyway, my take was Penn Badgley was hot in Easy A, and almost nothing else.
John Tucker Must Die.
And John Tucker Must Die.
He's not even hot to me in John Tucker.
It didn't jump off the page for me.
No.
But
Easy A,
Easy A
like,
does.
ooh,
Yeah, Easy A is a
Tucker, I'm like, oh, little freak.
Yeah. And then in like Gossip Girl, he's gross.
Disgusting.
But like he plays a villain so well. Like he plays this serial killer in You so well.
I feel like you're just like kind of like
What?
taunting me. You know that Penn Badgley you'd me.
Oh. Yeah, sorry.
When I lived in Williamsburg, Penn Badgley did too, and it was during the filming of the first season of You. No, the release of it. He was everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
He was following me. One time at Devotion, he asked if he could take a seat at my table while he waited for his coffee.
That is so you. I don't mean like that's
Thank you.
That's so you, Molly. I mean that's so you. The
I
show.
was getting viewed by Penn Badgley. He was method acting on
I
me.
think was he wearing a blue baseball cap?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
That's when he's
Because-
really in his
Yeah,
mode.
when he's like stalking women, he wears his blue baseball cap.
Really?
Yeah.
What a
And
a quirk.
no one notices
About
him
to kill
when he wears when he wears
his
this.
invisibility cap.
Literally, it is a show about what white men get away with. And that part is believable too. Like you're kind of just like it's an interesting case study. It actually and it's very they make a lot of like funny cultural references because there's one season that takes place in New York, one season that takes place in LA, and I feel like the characters are so like New York and LA. Like
Yeah.
it's very well. I'm not sure if I'd say it's well written. It's well written.
Okay.
It's very well done, I think. Anyway, I'm on like season 2, I think, right now of my rewatch.
How many seasons are there?
The 5th one just came out and it's the last season, thank God, because like how many more times can we watch?
How many more women can he kill?
Like literally, it's insane. I mean, it is so melodramatic what he gets away with.
Okay.
But I also have a you story that
Yeah,
I wanted
you
to
do.
share. I wasn't actually being used by this man, but
Nor was I by Penn Badgley. But
Hey.
it might have been.
yeah, I think you might have been. So we realized this summer, or I guess I realized this summer, that the last season of You was filming on the Upper East Side on my block in a bar that I don't really go to that often. Actually, I never go to it because
Which is a shame because it's a good bar.
it's a great bar, but I was being used at it. Me and several of my friends actually were being used by this man. He lives on the Upper East Side. I'm not going to say his name, but he is such a little pervert.
Yeah.
And he is like always, he's this little guy. He's a little guy. Mm-hmm. And he's always on the app. He's on every dating app imaginable. He has matched with, yeah. Jupes was just confirming the name.
You have a nickname for
Yeah,
him.
and Jupes just said the nickname, which I think is so funny.
I don't know the real.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think you could get away with saying the nickname because it's too like
It's, like,
derivative
his
of the
name.
real name. But like, let's say his last name were like Morbus.
It reminds me of Flotus.
Sure.
Let's say his last name was Flotus. The nickname is Flotussy.
Flotussy. This was good. Okay, yeah. So Flotussy, he's on every dating app. He has matched with not just me, but like 2 of my friends, and he like is such a pervert. Like he will. First of all, he like tried to like set up a date, and he's like one of those people who like is like, let's go out, and then never sets up a date. You're like, you're weird, whatever. So we had messaged a little bit on Hinge a few years ago, and then me and Jupes went to this bar, the one on my block where they filmed You, and he's there, and I didn't. We had not really messaged, so he was like a nothing to me. He was whatever, and then he came up and he was like, "Oh, we matched on an app," and I was like, "Okay, Flotussy, who are you?" And then we started talking, whatever, and then it was like, okay. Then we followed each other on Instagram, and then it was like, reply guy.
Yeah, he's a little creep.
For a couple years. Never actually, for a couple years.
And he would die down for a whole period.
That's the thing. He would come back up, and then he'd be like, oh, let's go out. And I'm like, you're so weird. I'm not even into you, but like, you're always around. So I'm like, okay, sure, let's go out. And then it's like not
Egg on
making a
my
plan.
face.
Yeah, and then you're like, me and my cheese.
Flotussy.
And I'm like, all right, Flotussy. So, and then, I think I mentioned this earlier on the pod, but like literally for years doing this. One Valentine's Day, I wake up, DM from Flotussy, Happy Valentine's Day. I'm like, you're a psychopath. You're a full
He was you,
blown psychopath.
For
and he has
sure.
done this to like 2 of my other friends.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And the thing is, I can't go to this bar because that's like he's always there. And it's like, I've blocked him now. I literally,
And he's
at this
there
point,
alone.
he's there alone. That's a pervert.
Laying cheese everywhere.
The bar smells horrible. But I thought it was so funny that they were filming you there because I was like, that man stalks every woman on the Upper East Side, and he's not even good at it.
You should shadow Penn.
That's the other thing. You see him. I see him everywhere. He's at the halal cart. He's at Seatown. Like he is fucking everywhere. And it's gotten to the point where the two friends I have who have also had this roundabout with him, like we all know we're all friends. It's not even like independent friends.
It's kind of a John Tucker.
Literally. You. I wish he looked like that naturally. Like that. It was, again, like all three of us were like, how did we end up with the cheese? Like this guy's not even cute.
Right.
And so every time it's like always like just saw Flotussy today, like, which has now become a fun bit. But
yeah, he ultimately gave you guys a gift.
Yeah, he did.
But what the hell? This whole episode has been a really intricate mapping of the Upper East Side.
We are like this close to giving you our addresses. It would just be easier.
Yeah. Also, it's brave of you to rewatch you.
Thank you. Well, now I'm like, I'm trying to find the bar, you know?
Yeah.
But Jupe thinks that they cut the bar scenes from season 5, which I haven't seen yet, so. Anyway, but they film a lot of the show on the Upper East Side.
Susie Suki?
Oh, yeah, I'll talk about it. I know what she was trying to say. Yeah, the bookstore. Who knew? Again, I must have... That's what's... You know, we're getting old. Because when this show first came out, I don't think I even lived on the Upper East Side, so I wouldn't have clocked it.
No fucking way.
Yes.
Seriously?
I wouldn't have clocked. I think it was pre-COVID.
What? 30 years?
Yeah, I'm 85 now. But I think when it started, I didn't live up here, so I didn't clock it. But the bookstore is, like, literally, it's right next to Sushi Suki, which is where I get my sushi. Again, another, put it on the map.
So if you were to call Sushi Suki and pretend to be Claire, maybe they'd give you her address.
If you're really sweet. I bet Flotussy gets his sushi there, too.
Probably. I don't think he eats sushi.
No, probably not. I don't... I think he just, like... never mind. What have you been reading, watching, consuming?
Oh, okay. I watched something this weekend. I had Mittens watch it with me, and now I'm not gonna get to pick another movie for like a few fucking months. It's the sequel to A Simple Favor. I don't know what it's called. Like
Another Simple Favor. I've been seeing the previews everywhere.
Another Simple Favor. Right. Well, okay. So we have previously on this podcast talked about like how camp can be such a high value aspect of a creative work. Like I can watch scary movies if there's that like camp kind of like suspension of disbelief to it. And it just really, when done well, it elevates the artistry.
Agreed.
I would say I felt that way about the first Simple Favor movie.
Okay, I haven't seen either of them, unfortunately. But it did look like it was looking camp right in the eye.
Looking camp right in the eye. Happy Met Gala. Happy first Monday in May.
Yeah.
Yeah. It went there in the first one. I liked it. And maybe it was just kind of like new. It was an original movie, which so many things are remakes now.
True.
But, you know, you got Blake Lively getting hit by a car. That's a spoiler.
That is like such a spoiler.
Is that the Simple Favor? She gets hit with a car?
No. No. But you get, you know, a lot of like kind of naughty sexual exploits too. There's a thrill. I mean, Anna Kendrick has sex with her half brother.
Dude, you're spoiling the whole
It's okay. This feels like I should have seen it by now. You know,
You should have seen that coming.
I'm being illiterate by not.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have asked.
No,
if
no,
you
it's
were
okay.
with spoilers.
It's okay.
I just went whole hog.
Yeah.
But there's enough that's like weird and funny, genuinely funny, that you're like, this is kind of fun. And Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, like Blake Lively's character is so like, you know, like of a type. She's like a deranged woman that you're allowed to like I let myself call the bad acting like being a weird person, like a, you know, because Blake isn't a superb actor. And Anna was just kind of playing. I feel like she's always kind of just playing herself.
Yeah.
But it worked against each other. Another Simple Favor loses all of that, like any currency they built in that like camp bank where it was
Yeah.
like, we trust you to tell like borderline kooky but still compelling stories. They just squandered. They sold the farm. They
No.
lost the farm. It went off the fucking rails so quickly.
Yeah.
There was so little to rest your hat on, and Blake Lively wore a lot of hats. That was actually the best
Which I'm
part.
sure you loved, yeah.
Of course, that was
Yeah.
the best part. But it was just really kooky. It went full hog. Like, I just don't get it.
Sorry.
No, I'll just round out the spoiler I gave you of the first movie.
Perfect.
They're like, oh, like people really liked that incest thing. You people.
I don't really like incest, period.
Well, it was, they were like, the fans were eating that up. Claire Grant does not stand alone. And so they tried to really rev their engines on the sequel. This is a spoiler if you want to do earmuffs. You've not seen this.
No, I have.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you have, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Again. I'm really giving away the whole thing.
Yeah,
here.
no, please. Keep going.
Blake Lively is sneaky. You learn in the first movie, sneaky a twin.
Okay.
Her real name is Hope, and her twin's name is Faith. Faith doesn't make it to movie 2.
Oh, shit.
Twinicide. What's the word?
She kills her twin.
Yeah. What
Twin
is
side. Twin side feels right.
sororicide, but twinside, you know.
Twin side.
Twinside.
Twinicide?
Twinicide. Movie 2 was sneaky a triplet.
Of course. Okay, so this is
Charity.
just
Learned
soap
about her
opera.
in the first one.
But we think she died at birth.
So true.
So now you got Hope, Faith, and Charity. Charity pops back in.
Okay.
So now you've got Blake Lively playing another character too.
Oh my god.
All of them wearing hats.
That's how you keep them apart.
And they're like, hey, you sick fucks want more incest? Cool. We're gonna have the tooth triplets.
No.
So there's a whole scene of Blake Lively
Fucking herself.
Yeah. And then another scene where she makes out with herself in front of her son.
CGI has gone too far.
Too fucking far. And
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Wow. In front of her son?
Yeah. And her son's like 11.
I think like camp is I love camp as we've covered. I think you have to have like really good normal bones or like a reality that you are distorting, and if there's just no semblance of that, then you've gone way too far.
Know the rules before you bend them.
Yes, know the rules. Yeah.
There were no rules to this.
I can't believe they made Blake Lively fuck herself.
You really can't recommend enough for a Twinicide fan like you.
Twinicide, Twinicide. Twiplets? Twipicide? Twipcest?
Twipcest.
What is it?
I don't know. Tripcest doesn't seem right.
Hello, Twipcest.
Exactly. Okay, interesting. I do want to see it. That's been on my list. A Simple Favor has been on my list for about 10 years.
Listen, you just watched them.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I think I'm good now.
Did you read or watch anything else?
So the other thing I've been consuming this week is the book of the week.
Right, Emily Henry.
The Emily Henry. We read the we read the new Emily Henry entitled "Great Big Beautiful Life." My overall opinion is that she can do no wrong.
Okay.
And I do think that, like, I mean, we've talked so much about her, but like overall, how much I've loved her books has declined with each one.
Yeah, her most recent disappointed me.
Yeah. That being said, I think when you start so high,
Yeah.
like her scale for me, like I definitely judge her on a different scale, which is probably not fair. But like for me, Beach Read and Book Lovers are 5-star reads.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever given a book of hers less than 4 stars, because she ultimately gets me every time. Even if the plot's like not amazing, which like Funny Story and Happy Place I thought were both kind of weak, but like the romances still get me.
Happy Place. I would have gone 3-5.
Yeah, I may have. I don't have the numbers in front of me.
Okay.
But like this one, I think actually, I have to give it some time, but it may be my number 3, Emily Henry.
Whoa.
Which is surprising because when I started it, I wasn't really feeling it, but by the end, I was like into it.
Yeah.
I would say, and this is not. I did look at some Goodreads reviews before doing this, so this is kind of a take I'm lifting from there. But it does feel like her first foray, kind of flipping, because I feel like she's mostly like a romance forward writer.
Yeah.
I feel like this time she kind of went with like a plot forward, not plot forward, but you know what I mean. Like seemed more like literary fiction with a romance element. Although the romance was still it is a romance, but like she seems more focused on the plot of like the journeys of the characters, I guess, outside of the romance, because it focuses on, I guess, just to zoom out, it's like this woman was an actress from a very famous family. It's kind of Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo-esque, which I didn't love, but it's kind of, she's like this super famous woman. She was from a big like publishing family. She disappeared off the face of the earth after her husband died. But she's now decided she wants to tell her story. And so she's picked these 2 writers, and she's like gonna interview them for like 6 weeks or something to see who she would like to write her biography.
It's a very long time
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah. That's the premise. And then they fall in love. Spoiler. But it really focuses more on like the mystery that the woman is trying to unravel about her life.
Okay.
And I won't spoil that part.
I should also say the reason Siege is kind of teaching me about the books that we presumably both read is that I didn't read.
And sometimes that happens.
I just started it, but then I actually kind of got in a groove writing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to turn off the magic. I got scared.
I think you should go with that instinct. I didn't write a word this week, so.
Well, okay, but because I have heard like at summary level that this like kind of smacks of Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I will just say full-throatedly, like I fucking hate that book.
I didn't like that book. I won't say I hated it. I did not like it though.
I really disliked it.
Yeah.
By the time I finished it, I was angry.
Yeah.
So,
it's very different. What did you not really? What did you hate about that book? I guess is my question.
Everything? No,
No, I'm sorry. I just am trying to see if you will like this based on that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pressure.
I thought that the mystery. I thought first of all the framing made the story really disjointed, like flipping back and forth between. Like I never really had reason to buy in on the author's perspective, like the woman who was writing the biography of Evelyn Hugo, because I guess I didn't feel like I spent enough time with her, but then I also only knew her through the lens of like figuring out this story, which then very conveniently, and this is my biggest gripe with the book, like it's all way too convenient to introduce a ton of information that doesn't really fit together in the final 20% of the book as a way to, shore up your mystery, to give your like the other storyline, the author writing the book, purpose and like relevance.
Yeah.
I just thought the whole thing was like neat in a way that was implausible and extremely frustrating.
Okay, then you might not like this book, because I will say like the plot's a little bit like okay, but I didn't mind. Like I do think, I don't know, and I thought it was creatively done. Like I do think though that it was a little bit like, in the way that many mysteries are, where you're like, all right, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Is it that where you like get new information in the final mile?
I couldn't remember. Yes, I think you do get it, and I know you hate that when you get like new information.
Where
at the
it's
end.
Just like a perfect like oh.
No, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
Though you do, I think, get one new piece of information at the end, but I think it's like possible that you could have. There's like a hint about it in the beginning where you could have been like, and I definitely saw where it was. I didn't see where it ultimately was going, but I saw. I saw parts of where it was going. And I don't know. I just there were parts of it I really didn't like. I will say that. Like I think at first it almost feels like she had a hard time getting into the characters herself. Like the characters feel very cookie cutter at the beginning. Like I think she was trying to do a grumpy sunshine trope where one person, usually the man, is grumpy and the woman is like very happy and optimistic and whatever. And I just don't really like that trope because I feel like it's like women are supposed to, and I think that's ultimately the lesson that they learn is like women can be grumpy too. And it's like, yeah, no shit. But so I didn't really love that part, and I felt like she leaned really, which is, and now I feel like I'm having a different perspective reading these books as someone who's writing them because I can see she's like trying to like prove to us that this person is a sunshine, you know? Like Jupes and I talked about this. Like there's a part early on, if you've started it, you've probably gotten to it. It's like she find this guy's like not nice to her, which like whatever. He's just like not friendly, whatever. And she sees him at a coffee shop and he orders like a green tea. And like the next time she goes to the coffee shop, she like gets him a green tea and brings it to his door and like leaves it for him. And a croissant. Good point, Jupes. And you're just kind of like, I don't believe that any woman would be this naive, I guess, or this like, it's too much. And it's like, I just feel like she's doing it to be like, see, she's sunshine. And it's like, I just don't find it super believable.
Yeah.
And I also didn't find that very likable either. But I feel like the more she gets into the book, like those things kind of fall away and you just get like other things about them as characters that then they became more real to me and I liked them more.
Okay.
I loved the love interest actually. She just really gets me with the love interest sometimes. Like the men she creates, I'm interested.
I like him more than her.
Yeah, I think you will like her more as it goes on. But yeah, he's just this very like moody, not very nice, but it's mostly because he just like doesn't really know how to interact with people.
Cool.
I really liked him. Doesn't sleep.
Ooh.
Hot. Somehow hot to me that he doesn't sleep, okay? What? Yeah, Jeepster said that's her type, and yeah, something about it is doing it for me too. He tells this story. I don't think this might be a spoiler, Juice, but like I don't think it really matters. He like, you know, they're divulging things about their childhood, and he's like, when I was a teenager, I just loved night so much. Like he was like I felt like I was performing so much during the day, so finally at night it felt like I could like be myself, and so I would just take my Walkman out and I would walk around the neighborhood with my Walkman, which is creepy, but I loved it.
Oh.
Yeah, I loved that idea of like, I've never really thought, I'm a night owl myself, I've never really thought about it that way of like, it's when you can finally relax.
Yeah.
But it like spoke to me a little bit. And there were a few parts of this that like tugged at my strings.
Aw.
Like the lesson she has to learn basically is that she has a very difficult relationship with her mom. There's a lot of mommy issues, which I thought was really well done. And I was like, Emily Henry must have mommy issues.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the other thing I just will say, there was so much dry humping in this.
Why are they doing so much dry humping?
Oh my god, it's because it's like we can't be together. This isn't.
You're already rubbing.
Well, that part was kind of hot to me, where it was like it doesn't count. It was very How to End a Love Story, where it was like it doesn't count. Over the pants doesn't count.
Cool. That is an emerging trope.
It is.
Honestly.
I actually saw TikTok like I think last because now we have our book TikTok.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok the other week that was like, if your characters don't start with dry humping, I'm not interested.
Oh my god. Soon we're gonna get soaking.
Yeah, it comes back to trad wifery.
Yeah. Literally. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
But intriguing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I guess I want to say I'm probably too nice to Emily Henry, but
Oh.
I want an overall.
A master of the genre.
She's just really good, and I just really do think she gets chemistry done like really well.
For sure.
And I don't even. I have cried. I'm like I don't fully believe them as a couple, but I was into it. Like, I don't know. she's just good.
just
and she does a
good.
really good job also of like place.
Totally.
This one, I feel like usually she's done like Midwestern Lake.
Those Michigan beach
Yeah.
towns, yeah.
This time she's taking us to Savannah, Georgia, and it is just like,
Savannah, I thought it was an island.
or like, sorry, I think an island off the coast
Little
of Georgia.
Crescent.
And she said she didn't read the book.
I started it.
Little Crescent, yes, excuse me.
Battle of the Book.
And what color shoes was she wearing when she arrived at Little Crescent? So yeah, I liked it, and I think the place was done really well.
Yeah. Does
Um,
this inspire you as you, kind of set yourself in Charleston?
yeah, a little bit. I was like, I hope I'm not plagiarizing Emily Henry. Like with
city.
so much of it, I was like, I feel like I just feel like what is inspiration versus that's something we could revisit another time.
Yeah,
But-
just another time. It is an ongoing
fight with myself.
fight with yourself. Siege thinks she copyright or
I think I'm a plagiarist. Keeps me up at night. I'm like actually being serious.
I can finally be myself at night, and myself is plagiarist. Also, before we move on, when you said that resonated, I can finally I don't think that's why you stay up late. I don't think it's like, oh, I can finally.
At this point in my life, definitely not, because yeah.
You're a revenge stay-upper. You're like, my hours are not mine up until the nighttime, and
I'm gonna live.
I'm gonna live, damn it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm like, I'm gonna stay up till 2 a.m. because it's my free time. It's my playtime.
Yeah.
Free play.
Exactly.
Free period, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I had any other notes on it. I just generally really liked it, and it was interesting reading like a favorite author through the lens of now writing the genre and seeing all of the things she does. One thing I was saying to Jupes earlier that I liked about it was and I think we've talked about this, they kiss pretty early on to a point where you're like, I'm not...
No, I like that. That happens in book lovers.
Well, I know, but it's like, at first you're like, I'm not buying this yet.
Right.
But then it kind of helps you start to buy it, I guess, a
Oh.
little bit.
Just because their chemistry is so overwhelming, they had to kiss.
Yeah, and at first you're like, I don't feel like you guys really know each other yet, but then you're like, okay.
You don't have to know someone to kiss someone.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that made me think, like you had said that before, that you you like when they like kiss early
Yeah.
on, or this, and I think
And
that's
then they're
right.
like, well, what was that? And then they have to
I think that's right. I think it's also like it helps. It's like a buy-in for the reader too, of like, no, these people are into each other.
yeah.
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 And then my other, I'm talking so
No.
much.
Shut up.
I
Shut
do
up, keep talking.
Grumpy Sunshine, I don't have something against it personally, although I do think it has sexist roots. I personally will be writing Grumpy.
Love. Okay, so I have in my writing been thinking a lot about tropes and
Yeah.
like grumpy. Hell yeah, I'd read that
Yeah.
all day long. But you said you kept going back to your outline. Like now that I'm making a little bit more progress, I keep like going back to like, am I answering reader expectation by writing to specific tropes? Am I knowing the rules before I bend them? I don't even need to bend them. Let's just write to the rule.
Yeah.
But then I was having a hard time being like, okay, this is definitely it. I think at this point, I'm fairly so. I think we're both writing rom-coms, but my phobia, what keeps me up at night, is I'm writing a rom-com without the com. I'm so worried. It's like everyone's gonna be like, "That's not funny."
I just highly doubt that. I also think that, like, even if it's not feeling calm to you right now, not calm like CALM, calm like comedy,
Right.
that will come at some point. Like, you might just be
Yeah.
trying to do the rules right now,
Yeah.
and like you're not ready to bend them yet, or like add more jokes, you know.
And you're right. As I edit, I edit in jokes, but I am, and I think it was also being early in the book. Like you just have to do so much establishing work that
Yeah.
it's like. But then I'm like, what better way? Like jokes can be the most efficient way to like imbue character,
Yeah.
like attributes, and advance plot, like jokes are really efficient per word.
Well, it kind of comes back to like what we talked about last week of like emails
Yeah, true.
and texting. That's a good place for jokes.
Epistolary romances.
Sorry, Molly just looked at me with like the look of a true serial killer when she said epistolary romances. She gave me a Joe from you look.
A letter from Paul to the Ephesians.
And those were famously so funny.
Right.
I think that's a really easy place to inject humor if you want to try that.
Where are my letters?
Like,
I'm not writing any letters.
I'm not saying letters, but if you do like text, like I'm gonna be putting text in mine, or like, yeah, just I feel like dialogue is the best place for it, low key.
Agreed. Okay, so rom-com. Here's what I think I might be writing, and this is I've like now gone back into my first act and even punched this up a bit, and I know you hate it, which is I'm nervous to share. It's like a little bit faded in that there is that element of the like the super not supernatural, but like there's a
it's in the tarot cards, if you will.
And I'm not doing tarot cards anymore. I'm gonna do Turkish coffee grounds. Trying to say that phrase again. I'm doing Turkish coffee grounds as the prediction tool. But yeah,
it's more like when the prophecy said like
like when your dragons are made.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. When your dragons are made. I'll have to read yours to really be the judge, but I don't like it when it's too heavy-handed, I guess.
No, mine is kind of like it's
the outline of the guy.
It's kind of like in a Hallmark Christmas movie where like Santa comes by and like taps his nose. That's the level.
That's the vibe.
That's the level of faded.
You're not making me feel better to be honest.
You're gonna love it.
Okay, alright. Okay. You know who will love that? My mother.
Your mom's not gonna like my book. I'm so worried she's gonna read it.
Oh, same.
And then the final things, I know it's kind of like a love like diamond, I guess. Because there are three guys at play.
Yeah.
But we've talked about how like I want to make it clear pretty early to the reader, like that's your guy.
Yeah.
That's your and so to that end, I actually think the trope that will be most emergent, like in the book as you read is mutual pining.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I thought you might like that one.
Can you like explain what that means?
Yeah, I think like I'll actually use that to kind of like dim the love diamond of it all, because that's not like I've got like a guy from the past and then a guy from the she always envisioned her future with, and they're gonna both be like candidates by this prediction she's considering, but they each represent like bad choices she could make or bad instincts she could indulge in herself. But like I don't want it to be like she's like actively considering these three people at a time. Like I want to show that she's growing, even though she's like actively pursuing or like indulging those guys while she's figuring her shit out. I want it to be clear, like she knows she wants him. She like is just fighting her best instinct. And so yeah, she's like circumstance of her own creation is kind of keeping her from being with him.
Yeah.
And then maybe he's a little grumpy or like he's like
he's less wears it less on the sleeve.
Yes, but he pines too, and he's like she's got to figure it out, and she's like.
And then Santa comes by and says, 3 more wishes. If you just believe.
Yeah. So they both kind of pined for a while.
Oh, I really like that.
Yeah, I feel like I just gave the whole plot away.
No.
Who cares? So what?
That's what I keep coming back to with my plagiarism fears is like, it's the way you dress the salad or whatever.
There's always going to be a leafy green.
A balsamic dressing, probably.
That's crazy. Like, I feel like only like 10%, fewer,
Really?
5% of salads have a balsamic dressing.
Oh, that's my default dressing, not yours. Sorry. We don't have to go into that.
Actually kind of is.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But yeah, it's all about how you like. They all have the same bones. It's
Yeah.
about
It's a very
the
formulaic
muscles of
genre.
the, yeah. We've talked about this ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Cool. Is there any? So how else is writing going?
It's, you know, in fits and bursts.
Yeah,
But it's good. I love writing on my phone.
that's crazy. Oh my god, that's so crazy. This week on my way to Philly, I was like, I wish I could. You can't really bring any technology. It's like jury duty. You can't bring a laptop into Citizens Bank Park. And I was like, I have so much writing to do, and
And you were there like 3 hours early.
I could have, yeah.
On your phone.
No, I see. I can't write on my phone. Not like that.
This is so weird, growing up in a non-cable household like
Yeah.
you. Sunday mornings, the show Sunday mornings.
Right, yeah. Where Bill Belichick was recently held hostage.
We're not answering that.
Yeah.
But that show rocks.
Yeah, oh my god, it's so good.
I loved watching it. Like as a kid, I'd be
Yeah.
like
Seated for
Yes,
that.
yeah.
As soon as you hear the trumpet
theme song. But I distinctly remember a segment when I was like pretty young and it was still like the advent of cell phones. But it was a segment about how, as a rising trend somewhere in Asia, maybe it was like Japan, like these young authors, it was like young hot girls were writing books.
Ooh.
But they were writing them on their phones, but phones at that time were like flip phones.
Oh my god, they
So it was,
were
like,
writing in T9.
T9 novels. And the whole segment was like,
technology is crazy.
novels
won't last.
written by women, written on phones. Could this be?
And I think of it every time. I'm like,
You're like, girls can do this too.
I'm like a cool girl on the subway, like hee hee hee.
Oh, fun. Maybe I should try it more.
Yeah, no, I do a lot of like, I know we say, just write, stop going back and editing the meager offering you have. But I actually do a lot of like, what I feel is productive editing on my phone.
Okay.
I'll read
Oh,
what
that's
I
interesting.
have, be like, oh wait, that doesn't hit.
Yeah.
No.
Imagine if we had iPads.
What?
Imagine if we had iPads.
No.
Oh, you have an iPad. What am I saying? Did you say I don't?
She said, "Oh my god." You scared her.
Oh my god, sorry.
Don't scare me about my iPad.
Did you forget you had an iPad? Well, that's cool. The fact that you wrote this week and I didn't is like really stressing me out. And I'm
You
like,
are still thousands of words further than I
but I
am.
need to cut like 2K of them because they're bad.
That's not true.
You don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm still firmly in one. I just want to break into two so bad, but I'm in Act 1, as it were.
Well, I think I've broken into 2. Actually, no, I don't think I have. I think I was about to break into 2. I gotta fix 1.
Okay. 1 is fun for me. 1 is taking shape. I'm like,
1 is fun.
2 is poo.
And that's what how babies feel too.
That's how Hector feels.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yep. So I guess that brings us to
I think it's us.
the age-old question. What's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
Okay, so as I said, like I just kind of had a romantic weekend. I do think it's like the sun is out, my optimism is back out.
Yeah.
I've gone from grumpy to sunshine, if you will.
Wow.
And I just like, I guess you know who's gonna hate this, Callie. I'm talking about the subway.
All right.
I was just gonna hate this whole episode. It's been like,
And say, are you taking the 1, 2,
it's been very New York.
It has been very New York.
in
Yeah, we
speak.
in our map.
Yeah.
But I did the day trip to Philly yesterday, and then I took the subway from Penn Station back home, and first of all, I walk into the Herald Square Q train station.
That's my stop.
Yeah, and
Again, like, kill me. Anyone. If you wanna-
please.
You can find me at these places at these hours.
And what train do you usually get? But there was like a band playing, like, and I was like I can't even tell you how many people were watching this band play. Like, upwards of 100 people had crowded. I have really bad spatial reasoning, so I have no idea if that's right. I have like a really bad.
I do not think it was 100.
I think it might have been. There were
so?
a lot of people. It was like not a normal, like whenever someone's playing music
Yeah.
on the subway, like people are like, oh, like tourists are like, oh, have fun. I bet they're famous. This was like an abnormal number of people were crowding around. And I've tried for a minute to angle, because I was like, sometimes like Pharrell sings on the subway.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get a random, yeah. I tried for a minute, and then I was like, God, I am such a New Yorker. I tried to care, and then I was like, I actually don't care at all.
Yeah.
But it was fun to see people being invested. And then when I went down and was waiting for the train, this is the actual romantic thing. The whole thing is like the subway being romantic.
Yeah.
But I was waiting for the train, and this couple, they must not have been from here, because they had a joy that you only find in Europe.
Cool.
But they were sharing a set of AirPods. Each had one in, and they were dancing.
Like together or
Yeah, they were
side
like
by side?
ballroom dancing. Not ballroom dancing. I mean, I don't know what else you call
Yeah.
it. Like a middle school
Pair
dancing.
dancing. Yeah.
They were swaying together, holding their hands,
Sweet.
listening to each AirPod. It was really cute, and they did it the whole
Wow.
time they were waiting for the subway, and they were smiling and laughing so hard. It was really cute. And then when they were getting on the subway, I was like, "Is that man gay?" Which doesn't matter, because either way, I was like, the friendship is romantic,
Very
romance is
sweet.
romantic. It was really cute.
Whoa, I love.
Yeah.
Oh my god, darling.
Yeah, it was really cute. So now I may ask you, what is...
I'm still kind of hung up on that.
Yeah, it was really,
What
really
a beautiful
cute.
vignette.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah. What a way to pass the time. Can I pass the question back at you, or are you still like...
I'm still having a
you
moment.
still need time to
No,
process?
you can ask me.
What's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
Well, honestly, the first half of your story, which I actually don't know why.
It wasn't super relevant in the end.
Part of it. It reminded me of a romantic thing I had pinned earlier in the week, where I saw the exact opposite. It was like 8 in the morning at the same station,
Yeah.
though, which is why I'm like, oh. But I was like, oh, that's so romantic. It was a woman at 8 a.m. who had done her whole setup, and she was belting Tina Turner. Belting. Simply the best. And she has one man in front of her just rocking out. It's 8 a.m. and he's dressed for work. This isn't like some guy
Oh,
that's
that's
like,
so... I love that.
he's rocking out to this woman.
Okay.
Was she particularly good? No, not
No.
even. But she got up, she said, I'm busking today. And that man said, hell yeah, I'm your fan.
I
If you
want
have
that to
no
be
fans,
like
I'm dead.
her husband, Loki.
It didn't seem
Or
that
strangers
way.
also. I can't decide which is actually more
I think
romantic to
husband
me.
would have been more romantic,
Yeah.
but this seemed to be just like a ship scene.
fan.
Yeah, just a fan.
That's really cute. I love that.
Yeah, but that's not even what I wanted to say.
It's also not relevant to yours. Perfect.
I get one irrelevant like you know.
One fake out.
Yeah, but unfortunately my real one is related to my dog, and I feel like I talk about Hector too much.
Never enough for that guy.
But it's really about my neighbors, who I also talk about too much. But I really don't talk to my neighbors, or at least I didn't until having a dog, and it kind of forces interactions constantly. But this romantic thing is actually an unspoken communication. It's nonverbal. There is a table in front of the elevators on my floor.
That fucking table, yeah.
Yeah, like people will leave shit there. Like
People leave like Ozempic. It's crazy.
and I'll be like, I have excess of this. Here, floor, would you like? I've seen someone keeps trying to put some like kind of like ocular solution there, like monthly.
That was perverted.
It is. But someone else, I don't know if it's the same person or if it's like other, like different, because there's so many dogs in my building. But since Hector came home, there have been nice little puppy things on the table that are like very clearly intended for him. Like the week he came home, a basket of puppy toys on the
Wow.
table. So freaking sweet. And Mittens and I were largely unprepared when we got
Yeah.
him. So like we didn't have a lot of toys, and then here are all these puppy toys. Perfect. We got him like big toys, and it's like, oh, this guy's actually tiny. Like,
Yeah.
so they're like perfect little plushies. And this week, a bowl showed up, one of those like collapsible bowls that can clip onto a leash.
Nice.
It's like, it's getting hot. It was something I needed, so I bought it the very same week, but then one showed up on the table.
Oh, now you have two.
And having bought it myself, I know they come in a set of 2, and I didn't think to put my second out on the table, which is actually good thinking on my part because Hector broke his first immediately. But
Also, those you'll leave one in a park one day, you know.
you need access. But yeah, I feel like someone was like, your little guy huffs and puffs.
He
and
is. Everything he does costs him so much
it's
energy.
laborious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think someone was like, it's getting hot. Here's a water dish.
Oh, sweet.
That's cute. It feels very like it's a village.
Neighborly.
Yeah,
Yes.
neighborly for sure.
I was about to say the name of your full building. Say I love blank. But I'm not going to.
To an insane episode.
I'm gonna hold off.
Thanks.
Anything else?
No, it's all.
Alrighty.
Just
See
cutting us off.
Bye.
Later.